there, come and see what I'm doing at the moment today. Let me know if you like these lives where you're just with me while I'm doing something. And today I wanted to sort out one of the things is labels for my plants that are going out different areas of my land. Now you might have seen the video on my channels where I found this at the dump. It was an old red, that sort of colour, toolbox, and see how dirty and nasty it is. And I decoupaged it with all vegetable pictures. I did a video showing you how I did it. I'm doing all vegetable pictures. And I wanted to go through this and see what I'm going to keep in it. Now, I've put some stuff in here. This stays indoors. So it stays indoors. So I want to keep dry garden stuff in it. So it wouldn't be like hand garden tools or anything like that. So I was thinking about labels. Now it's got one of these trays inside. So at the moment, I've got pens and pencils in it that I use writing in the garden. I've got some garden scissors. I've got an old teaspoon that's gone a bit tarnished. That says Edinburgh Castle and it's tarnished, but I use that for when I've got some seedlings growing. I use this to scoop them out. I've got more pencils and I've got these little trays, I suppose. And when I'm dealing with very tiny seeds, I use those. And I've also got here at the moment tape. I think it's like electrical tape. And I use that when my hose has little holes. I can't afford any new hose for my garden. So most of my hose is now black because I've taped up that. So that's in the tray at the moment. Then in the bottom at the moment, I've sorted out anytime I get brown bags, like grocery bags, and I keep those in here, or brown paper bags. No, I don't think there's any brown paper bags. They're all like these grocery bags. And the reason for these is these are good for collecting seeds such as lavender. What else? Cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. And then what you can do is put the bag over the heads of seeds, hold it together, turn it up the other way, shake so the stem's still attached, shake it, and then you can take the stem out and all the seeds are in the brown paper bag. And the reason brown is they dry in the brown paper bag. So as you can see, there's quite a few of those. So I keep those in there because they need to be dry. Oh, here's some more smaller ones. And also greaseproof paper, tracing paper, kitchen paper, whatever you call it, baking parchment. For trouble, all around the world we have different names for the same items. I've got that in there. Because again, when I'm drying seeds, I lay them on that and they don't stick. Whereas if you're drying seeds out on kitchen paper, they'll stick to it. So that's in there. That needs to be dry. Oh, I've got the top. This doesn't really need to stay indoors. The top of my watering can. I don't use this, but I don't want to get rid of it. That could potentially go out with my garden tools. So I'll keep that out separate. I've got some little pots that, again, I collect seeds in, so little tubs. That doesn't really need to stay in there. I was just sorting out dry stuff. I've also got, these need to be kept dry. These are fly traps or mosquito traps, anything like that. These are yellow. And they've got a bit of paper you peel off them and hang them. You can hang them in fruit trees, or what we use them a lot for in Cyprus is to hang them around your patio or your seating areas from this. If you've got a covered ceiling, a covered roof, you hang them there. They're not any mosquitoes are attracted to. If you have lights on at night, they fly on and stick to those, so they need to be kept dry. And then the only other thing I've got, which is what I want to deal with right now, is my friend gave me, I've been using lollipop sticks or popsicle sticks for labelling plants in different ways, many different ways. But my friend gave me these these are Vets, from Vets, and they are tongue depressors for animals. They're brand new, and I have those. So that's what I want to deal with today, labelling. So I'm going to take those out. I'm going to pop those other bits back in that I've just showed you. And as I say, I only want to keep what I call dry stuff in this, and this stays indoors. In my we had an outside door to outside, and a long story, but we can't use that door anymore as an access. So instead of getting rid of it, Mike built outside a wooden room, if you like, wooden walls, and it's now a cupboard from indoors for sunbeds. I call it the summer room. It's for summer items. So we put sunbed cushions in there. I have done a video on it. If you want to see that, then just ask in the comments and I will do a link to that. So that's what's staying in there. Let's pop that down there. But it's labels I wanted to deal with today. Now, as I say, I do labelling in many, many different ways. If any of you have got great labelling tips for the garden, do share them. And if I haven't found that already, then I will use it. One of my favourite ways is on stones. And on stones, I gouged my finger this morning. On stones. Now, these are, again, I do it in different ways. I've got these sort of letters, which I'll show you. And I've also got these kind of stick-on letters. And let me show you the letters I use. This is what I'm doing today. I'm making more labels in many different ways. So these are all left over, and don't buy anything. So we have these kind of stick-on ones, and until they're used up, I will keep using those. But also the first one you saw, these ones, these have lasted me years and years. I go over them with clear nail varnish. Now, of course, you could use normal varnish, but I don't buy things. So I have plenty of clear nail varnish. So I go over the top, they've lasted years and years. These are Letraset. These are Letraset. So these are like transfers, if you like. So I've been using those. And hey, if you find you've got a letter missing, you would have seen on my vertical pallet wood, vertical herb wall, growing wall, that I have used bits of some letters I'm not going to use to make other things. So these are good, and what I do just to make sure they're okay is if I use them in my sun lounge when I'm growing in the winter, I turn them upside down so I know the sun's not going to affect them or if I spill any water. But as I say, I have used them outside for quite a few years now, but I want to go through what ones I've got and make ones that I haven't got. This seems to be for me so far the best way that lasts, no matter what. So I've gone round and anything I've transplanted or moved or don't need labelling anymore, I've just been collecting them in just here, so I can now go through them and put them back with the stones. The small stones are in here, and I also have big containers where I keep the big stones. Now, you'll say all the big stones, because I've got much bigger ones, but they're outside. They take up a lot of space. Well, mostly they'd be out all the time, marking the bed or wherever. But as I say, I've got this whole huge walk-in cupboard, if you like, now, so I can keep them there. So I'm just taking these out. Any small stones can go back in with the stones. We've got oriental spinach. And this is another thing what I'm doing, and I have already done. I've got a list of what I've got labels for of this stone version. I'll show you another version I do in a minute. So I've got a list, so I don't need to go, oh, have I got one of those? So I'm just taking them out. So that's a squash. What's this one? Cucumber. Then I've got little tiny ones for when I grow indoors. I've got some little tiny ones as well, little miniature ones, chives. Right, that's all of those. Now, when I label my, let's say, popsicle sticks, I've tried different ways of doing these as well. To write directly on them, if I'm in a rush, I do that, but that I always regret doing it. But when you're in a rush and you're sowing some seeds, I do that. They don't last. So what I'm going to do is paint over these ones and then do them the proper way again. And see if I've got a proper one to show you. And then when they're all labelled, I have a little file, plastic file. And then in there, I have a folder. And this is in alphabetical order of each type of thing I grow in alphabetical order. And then again, I've done this in two different ways. One way I've labelled them, if you want something a bit prettier, and this is how I've done them on my vertical pallet wood growing wall. I've used those again, the transfers. And then this one I've just covered with sellotape or sticky tape. But again, you could just varnish those because if it's outdoors, these will get wet. So that's one way I've done them. I'm trying to show you good examples. And then another way I've done them is I've put a post-it note on. It will focus in a minute. Hopefully, yes. I put a post-it note underneath and I've put the letters with those sticky letters on, sticky back letters. I've done that. So that one, cucumber. So there's that. That is a way of doing those. Again, if they're going to be outside, and you can't obviously dig these into soil. You can't dig these into soil. Now, another way I'm doing at the moment is cutting out from, let's say, when you wash clothes and you use a liquid to wash clothes, the containers, the plastic containers of those, you can cut those into whatever shape you like and you can then write on them with a permanent pen. So I will be doing some of those, but while I've got all of these, they will be better varnished. So if I'm going to take time now and do them, I need to do them properly. So that is what I'm doing productive today. I have so many of these and it's literally a case of going through everything I grow and see what I've got labels for. As I say, there's a lot in here that this year I was just quickly planting seeds. And these were ones I bought, lollipop or popsicle sticks. I did buy a pack of these. There was hundreds of them for literally not a lot of money. And I wrote on them. These ones are now no good. So I'm going to, as I say, possibly paint over them so I can reuse them. If they're really bad, they've been used time and time again and they're quite manky looking now, then I will put these in my fire as my fire starter. So I thought you might enjoy seeing what I was doing today. That is it. This is my productive day. As I always say, try and do something every day that is progressive or productive. And let me know in the comments what you are doing with your day today. I'll see you next week. Until then, be productive, be positive, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.